What page does that start on? 214? Okay, so on that first one, slope intercept form, there's a good illustration right there that you can use, put in your illustration box. I want you to pay particular close attention to these two items. Everybody look up here real quick. You need to make sure you know what M is, and you need to make sure you know what V is. Alright? And where it goes in each one of those equations, what it is, where to find it, how to get to it. And now, if you notice right to the right of that, what do? They draw you a picture, right? Make sure you label all those parts. Okay? Now, if you've got some colored pencils or some pens, I would color code it too. What are the two items that are color coded here? Yeah, you got B in blue, and then, I'm sorry, M in blue, and then you got B in green. That's exactly where that comes from. Has everybody got both those page numbers? The other one, the second one, is right below it. That was a hard one to pronounce. Extrapolation. Okay, now for your illustration, what I would do is put this part right here, that example right there for your illustration. Okay? Basically what that is once you get everything in slope intercept form, then you're going to sub a number in for which variable. Everybody look at that example real quick. What would you sub a variable in for? Read the instructions. What are they subbing for?
For the X.
For the X. Good. It says right there, right? Replace X with 10. Basically putting a number in there so you can solve for Y. That's called linear exploration. Exploration, whatever. You can never say it right.
My husband works in the field and has for 25 years. And you know how oil
Oh
is.
God, don't tell me.
Thursday, he lost his job. Yeah. We spent the weekend trying to figure out what we're going to do. And we still don't know what we're going to do.
I hate that for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, he'll come back. But what do we do in the year?
Yeah, but when?
It happened. It doesn't, within that next year.
When?
Yeah.
When is it gonna come back?
I don't know. I hope.
That's what. That's.
Yeah. Sick all weekend. My stomach is not right.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that were land guys. You know, they, a good friend of ours from church here. He's a land guy, and they let him go.
Yeah.
He found a job the other day, and then he was on the job one day, and then they let him go the next day.
Oh my God.
And then
Bob's searching right now.
Then he went to another place, the third place he went to. That hired him, called him back, said, "No, we can't hire you."
Oh God.
So
Well, Bob's been doing it business for 25 years, and it's only, that's all it knows. He's only 41. That's all he knows. And there's nothing in disabled home. There's nothing. We've heard about some possible leads in Pennsylvania, but North Dakota, Wyoming.
That's where I go, Wyoming.
But so, and, I mean, it's like no service, no, just Friday was the last paycheck. Turn in your truck. See ya. 25 years. It's pretty bad. If he had regular clothes to go to work, he wouldn't know what to do without his steel-toe boots and his FRCs. And he said, I might have an interview on Wednesday. What am I going to wear? I said, I don't know.
That's tough.
Yep. He called a company in Castle. And they're supposed to be calling it back maybe. You know, trying everything. And then it being a holiday weekend, you know, nobody was there yesterday. So.
And scare ready too, because it's fixing for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's fixing to hit the fan for us too.
Man, well, and the kids don't understand. You know. Oh. I don't know. They don't really know what's going on because we haven't told him yet. He's still trying. He wants to see what he can buy before. You know. But they know his truck's not there. The 14 and 15 are smart enough. That's how she has been including.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Okay. Okay, 4-1 notes in Paratech. Title for this one is going to be Graphing Equations in Slope-Intercept Form. The objective is students will graph equations in slope-intercept form. Pass skills 2.2D and 2.2E. Today's date is 1/19/16. I got that? Okay. find this key concept of the box. Should be at the very top, right? Or where you did your objective and your task skill. Okay. A couple things that you don't have on there that you need to go ahead and write on there. One is dependent variable and independent variable. Back in semester 1, what did we say? If a variable is by itself, it's considered what? Dependent. By rule, by default, that makes my other variable, which is the x, what? Dependent. Now, or independent, rather. If it's independent, what does that mean? What can happen? It can do what? It can change, right? Okay? Being a dependent variable, okay, it depends on what x is in the equation. All right? What else is the x and the y? It's also what? It also makes an ordered pair. Write this down. You guys need to write this down. Remember all this. It also makes an ordered pair. Okay? What is that called? Double T table, right? Double T chart. What goes in the left-hand column? X. What goes here? Y. Well, that's where those come from, right? You see what I'm getting at? Okay, those make points all along this line that I can connect to make a line. Okay? So now what goes in the middle part? The equation, good. Now we just said that if x is independent, it can do what? It can change. Or I could use any number I want for it, right? What numbers do we normally use? -1, 0, and 1, right? You guys are writing all this down. You need to write it down. It's good information. Okay? Some people even like to use -2 and 2 also. Point being is I can do what? I can use a whole bunch of different ones, right? Okay. You guys good on that one? Example 1. Write an equation in slope-intercept form in line with the slope 1/4 and y-intercept of -1. Then graph the equation. This one's really simple, right? What did I start out with? Good. Then I just need to replace the variables, right? Do I replace y? No. Replace them?
Yes.
With what? 1/4, right? Do I replace the x? What about the b? Okay, is it a plus -1? Do I write it like this? It's a little confusing, isn't it? How would I write it then? -1, right? Now I could write it the other way, but I would have to do what? I could write it like that as long as I did what, David? Yeah. Put this in parentheses, right? Make yourself a little graphite. You guys know what graphite is, right? Lead in your pencil. All right, let's graph it. Okay, so what I need to do, you guys hopefully should know from back in semester 1 that my y-intercept is -1, right? What does a y-intercept always has an x-coordinate of what? 0. So now if I were to plot that point over here on the graph, where would it be? On the y-axis, just right below the 0, right? Or the origin. I'm going to go ahead and plot that point. Okay, now, the second thing I need to do is that the slope is 1 over 4. The 1 is going to be my what? Is that going to go up or down? How do you know it's going up here? Because the 1 is positive. Good. The bottom number is considered our run. Is it going right or left? Because it is a positive number. Everybody see how I'm doing that? Okay, so from 0, 1, which is the what? B, I'm going to move up 1 unit, and then right, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I keep going? Watch this. Can I go from this point? Got my slope? Up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I go the other direction? How would I do that? Okay, I'd have to change my direction, wouldn't I? But I can rewrite that as that, couldn't I? Okay, so down 1, left 4, down 1, left 4. There's my line. Can anybody tell me what your x-intercept is? Anybody? Where's my x-intercept? Okay, so what is it? 40, right? Now, what should I be able to do with those two? I should be able to do what? Plug it into my equation. Watch this. Put 0 in for your y. What am I going to put in for x? What should happen? What should occur here? The left side should do what? Equal the right side. If the left side does not equal the right side, what does that mean? That point right there should not lie on the line, right? You guys with me? So let's go ahead and finish it. 0. What's the fourth of 4? Minus 1 gives me 0. So that point lies on the line, doesn't it? You guys see what I'm saying? What's the order pair for this point? 8 and what? I should be able to plug that one in, right? Let's see. 1 equals 1/4 of 8 minus 1. What's the fourth of 8? 2 minus 1. Good. What about this point right here? Will that work? Tell me why. For one, it doesn't lie on the line, does it? And then if I took the ordered pair of that, plug it into my equation, what happens? What's the fourth of 1? That's not even close, is it? So the left side doesn't equal the right side, does it? Okay, so it can't be a solution to that equation, can it? You guys with me? That's all things that you need to know right there. A lot of information that we just went over. All right, write this one down. It's going to be on your CYP. Write it down, don't write it down. I don't care. You make a decision what you want to do. It's there if you want to write it down.
What's the weather supposed to do today? What's going on with this one day? Cold?
Cold and cloudy. Might have some drizzle.
Are you guys on the small game, right?
Huh?
You guys over there, right?
No, we're at Western Heights.
Oh, you got camping, okay. Boys camping,
Yes. We're all done.
somebody here doing
Somebody down here.
Got it? Are you still going, Megan?
Yeah.
Got it now? Okay, what's taking so long?
I don't know.
You started on the lane?
Yeah.
Okay, example 2, graph a linear equation. Graph 5x plus 4y equals 8. Okay, what do you notice about this equation right off the bat? You should be noticing.
Why?
Y is not by itself. What form do we call that? When x and y are on the same side. For the s. What's that called? Anybody? Starts with S. Oh, look, you guys are trouble. We did this in the first semester. What am I doing?
Edit.
Set it up. Standard form. Are we in trouble, people?
Yes.
Another way that you're going to see it is like that, where it's set equal to 0. You'll see this a lot on your standardized test. See it in Algebra 2, some of your higher math classes. Okay, so if this is the standard form, how do I get it into slope-intercept form? Now I got to get y by itself, don't I? Write my original equation. Do I want to move the y here or leave it? Leave it, right? So what do I need to move? Okay, so I'm going to move that. Rewrite everything. Okay, which one of these two terms has to go first? Y5x, Evan. Right, because I'm putting everything in slope-intercept form, right? So the -5 is actually going to be part of the slope, isn't it? Okay, then plus 8. Is y by itself? What's next? All what? All terms or just 2 terms or just 1 term? Got to do all the terms. That's what I mean. So that gives me y equals what? Now the -5/4 turns into my slope, doesn't it? Plus 2. That turns into my what? My v or my y-intercept. And this is still what? That and that are still my x and my y. Right? That's good? Anybody need more time? Couple of you? Okay. Now let's graph it. Where do I start?
Walk the line.
Which is, what's the y-intercept? Okay, now that should be a plus sign right there. Now, just where's my negative when I'm writing like this? Where's the negative sign? It's right in the middle, isn't it? Okay, what should I do with that? Let's rewrite it, right? Put the negative where? Can I put it on the top number? Okay. So I'm going to start at +2 right there. From that point, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what's another way I can write this? Can I put it as 5 over -4? Okay, I can count the other way, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and go that way. You guys see what I'm doing there? There's my line. See it? Eggs gone, didn't you?
Not the calendar, I'm sorry.
Alyssa.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people gone.
Yeah.
If I did it on this other.
CYP. Write down if you want to, quickly. I can leave that there very long. Okay. There's another one. That was a little weird looking, isn't it? What's in this one? What does that mean? Don't have an extra, I gotta have what? So what kind of line would that be? What kind of line would it graph that? Either they're all straight. Or they might- They're all straight, right? Either a vertical or a horizontal. Okay? Okay, which of the following is an equation in slope-intercept form of the line shown in the graph? The line crosses the y-axis where? -3, right? So what's the element of my equation have to be? -3. Okay, to get from there, ooh, where do I go? Where's my other point at?
1.5.
What do I have to do from here? I need to follow my line and do what? What am I looking for? I'm looking for another point, aren't I? Well, how do I know where another point is? See these kind of lighter lines? Where they intersect, right? Where they cross. So my blue line, could I put a point there? I could put a point right here, couldn't I? How am I going to count my slope, though? be a little tricky, wouldn't it? See what I'm getting at? Okay, so I'm gonna go right here. Follow along, I can do another one there. And another one right there, couldn't I? Okay, so what's my slope? 1, 2, that's my rise, and that is my run. Or all right. That's an well, actually, where's my y-intercept? Gonna be where? Okay, then right there. Okay, so y equals, my slope is going to be, nobody notice what is my line doing? What do we say though? Do we say decreasing? We said it's falling. So if I know it's falling, then my slope has to be what? Go ahead and get it out of the way. You guys see what I'm doing? Okay, you can eliminate a lot of answer choices if you just know that little concept there on your CYP and some of your other tests. Okay, so 1, 2, 1 plus what? I could also write this as just like so. Okay, EOY question. Rondell is buying a new stereo system for his car using a layaway plan. Write an equation for the total amount S that he has paid after W weeks. Okay, so the total amount, where's that going to go? S equals what? Now, we will still want to use, okay, because it's going to ask me to do what? D. Graph it. So what kind of form do I want to put it here? Okay, so S is actually going to be Y. All right, what's my M or my slope? Remember back in semester 1, we said slope is the same thing as what? Rate of change. What's my rate of change here? What's it changing? How's it changing? $10 each week, right? So 10 X or 10 what? 10 W. Because it says what? So we're going to use W for the weeks. But I still know in the back of my head that W can be replaced with what? X. You guys with me on that? Now I've already done what? So Michael, that 75 would be my, what else do we consider it though? What I am starting with, right? Okay, so I started with $75, which is going to end up being my intercept. Now, if I wanted to graph this, I can change it all. Y equals 10W plus 75. Now, the graphic gets a little tricky, so you make sure you pay attention to this, because this is where it gets really tricky. I write 10 over what? 1. So W goes down here, which is the same thing as what? X. What goes on my y-axis? S or Y. Notice what quadrant am I working in?
The 1.
Quad. It's got to be quad 1, right? Why does it have to be quad 1? Is it possible to work negative weeks?
No.
Is it possible to get negative amount? If you work at least 1 week, you're gonna get at least something, right? You guys with me? Okay, so everything I graph is gonna be in quad 1, which means all my x's are positive, all my y's are positive, okay? You guys remember that? All right, so now, what goes here in the corner? 0, good. Now I'm going to go, since my graph has got some smaller squares on it, I'm going to go 2 squares and represent with 1. That would be 1 what? 1 week. Bottom is the week, right? Okay, so we got 1, goes 2 more notches, 2 more notches, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10 at the end. So this is weeks down here. How do I know to put weeks down there? You said weeks is what? RX, right there. All right, very good. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Notice I'm going to start where? So on my Y part, how does my scale need to be? Now, understand something. Everybody listen to me. Everybody look at this so you don't mess this up. Because this gets everybody. My slope is what, guys? 10 over 1. You guys with me? So that means my rise is 10. So when I count my slope, when I graph my line, I have to count up how many? 10. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? Okay? So over here, I should go by, I would probably go by, remember now, you got to get it all on there. I go with 20. Okay? So 2 squares would be 20. 2 more squares would be what? 2 more squares would go, why would I not go by 25? What's going to happen to me? I'm going to fall where? Kind of in between, aren't I? See what I'm getting at? Okay, so I'm going to try to make life a little easier for me. 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 180. You guys got it? Where's my starting point? Which is right in between. So now from that point, I got to plot another point, don't I? I got to go up how many? 10. So watch this carefully. If I just go up to 80, how much is that? 5. If I go up to the next line, that's going to be another 10, isn't it? So I have to go where? I got to go in between, don't I? So up 10, right, how many? 1. Now notice I went 2 squares to my 1 right there. That gets everybody. Now if I graph it, it's helpful here when we're doing these type of problems that you use a ruler and graph a straight line for this very reason. Everybody look up here real quick. You need a straight line for this reason because look at C. Find out how many or how much Rondell will have saved after what? Well, can't I just use my graph? Why couldn't I? There's 8, right? 8 weeks right there. And then I just go. So what would that be? About 160? Huh? Why? I'm saying he's going to make 160. How do I know for sure? Sure you do. What was your second vocabulary word that you used today? You gotta study that and look at it? It's called what? Linear what? You want to write this down. Linear extrapolation. So now, what's my equation here? Y equals what? 10x plus 75, or I could say S equals 10W plus, okay, well, if I go 8 weeks here, can I not just plug 8 in for that? Yeah. S equals 80 plus 75. S equals 5, 150. Dang, I was pretty close. See how that kind of ties in together, how it works? One thing works off the other thing. Dave, you seeing that? Dave, you seeing that?
Yeah.
You sure? Guys, make sure you copy that down. If you want to copy it down on that slide, copy it down on this slide. Because guess what? You're going to be using this from here on out. Linear extrapolation. That's what that is. Okay, Ed is driving from our home in Miami, Florida, to her grandmother's house in New York City. On the first day, she will travel 240 miles to Orlando, Florida to pick up her cousin. Then they will travel 350 miles each day. Write an equation for a total number of miles M that Anna has traveled after D days. So what goes in front? Y, or in our case, what? M.
Teachers and students, please pardon this interruption. Third hour teachers, if you have not had your students fill out their ballots for the Mr. and Ms. Type vote, please do so at this time. All completed ballots need to be turned into the library. Thank you.
Okay, so M equals what? She's already traveled how much? So that would go at the end, wouldn't it? Oh, no, I may have lost it here. So M is going to be 240 will go at the end. What goes in front of it? What's the rate? How much are we driving per day? 350, so that's going to go where? 350X. All right, I'm sorry. 350B. We've already traveled 240, right? Now it says graph. You can graph that if you want to leave that up to you. It is 1,293 miles from Miami to New York City. How long did the drive take? Where's that go? Where's the 1,293 go? Think about it. It goes for M, right? So 1,293, because I want to find what? How many days time, right? So 350D plus 240. How do I get D by itself? Oops, that should be 0. Divide by 350. D equals whatever it is. Okay, you're getting a ballot. You need to do this real quick. You've got a ballot. If you notice on the boy side, so it says select 5 girls. So the girls are what numbers? So on your Scantron, you need to find the numbers 1 through what? 30. And then on the other side, the boys are what number? Okay, so select 5 girls, select 5 boys. Do that right now.
Yeah, you colored it. I mean, you're doing it right. 5 boys and 5 girls.
Just color the number in, Jason.
Yeah. See, you have like, if, number 1. If you wanna book it in, fill in that number 1. Okay, but you have to have 5 girls and 5 boys. You have to use a pencil only. I hope you're using a pencil only. Scantron, you can only use pencils. Somebody wasn't using a pencil, were they?
Graphite, pencil, lead. That is made out of graphite.
So, if you're not gonna count,
Who's doing the pen?
he was,
Who's he?
David.
Davey? Hey, son. We'll see.
I have an extra one.
So back in